Never miss an episode of the Final Furlong podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now, here's your host, Emmet Kennedy.
Welcome on to the weekend preview. We are recording this a little bit later than we normally do because we just spent the last hour talking about how bizarre the whole Harry Cobden and Mark Walsh Shape of a Manus situation is, and basically how appallingly badly Mark Walsh has been treated. But anyway, the boys are all here for the weekend preview. George Gorman, Andy Newton, Peter Michael, coming to Leopardstown Racecourse near you soon for the DRF. George Gorman is going to lead off our coverage of the Clarence House Chase, where Willie Mullins has won 3 times this race, all with Undeso, the absolute legend. He saddles the favourite Etait Temps, who's unbeaten in his last 5 starts and has comfortably beaten Jonbon on the only 2 occasions they have met. Jonbon gets Harry Cobden, the aforementioned, for the first time. Not necessarily as officially J.P. McManus's new number 1 rider, but he's about to be, and this will be one of the horses that he'll be hoping to team up with again next season. Nicky Henderson has won this with stable star Sprinter Sakura, Altior Shishkin, and of course Jonbon himself, who's bidding for back-to-back wins in the race. But Einstein's definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And over 2 miles, this horse has been spanked in his last few starts. So how is he going to go and beat Etait Temps, George Gorman?
Well, the one thing for Jonbon is there will be plenty of pace on. Like, it will be a good test of stamina, but like you say, he's unbeaten at 2.5. It seems fairly strange that we keep trying to do this with him. But the easiest way into this race is just going through some of the key stats, because you'll find the same name comes up again and again. 10 of the last 12 winners were aged between 7 and 9, so that's only knocks out Jonbon. 10 of the last 12 won their last run, so that's just Thistle Ask and Etait Temps. 5 of the last 12 winners ran in the Desert Orchid, but 4 of the last 12 ran the Tingle Creek, and all 4 of them did the double. Previous ratings, 9 of the last 12 were rated 160 or higher, so again, just Jonbon and Etait Temps. Season for 11 of the last 12 winners had at least 1 win that season. So again, Thistle Ask, Etait Temps basically puts short every single stat there is. Etait Temps comes out on top. The only one there isn't is he hasn't run at Ascot. I think 8 of the last 12 had a previous run at Ascot, but he's 2 from 2 at Sandown, and the form does tend to transfer from one to the other. You'd be a brave man to take him on. Willie Mullins' record in this race is exceptional as well. He's won the race 3 times with Undeso, but he's had plenty of place horses as well. I'm not sure he's had one out of the first 3. But I'll keep it short. I just think it'll be closer than the betting suggests. I think Thistle Ask will give a bold show from the front. There's every chance that Jonbon will run better for a good test of stamina here off a sharp pace. But I think Etait Temps should be the horse that's left standing at the end. Yeah,
and Willie Mullins' horses are going much better. And even when they weren't going well, he was still winning the Grade 1 Tingle Creek. So Etait Temps is going to take an awful lot of beating. If he gets around, he's going to win. I did see Andy Newton just ripping up all of his notes because they'd all been taken by George Gorman. He's like, what the hell am I going to say now? Andy Newton, what's your views?
I'm just like sacked as the stat man now. It's just, George is like delivering on the stats, and he's right. Really, the main one I suppose is the age. I mean, 1989, since 1989, that is, we've only had 4 double-figure age winners, and obviously Jonbon, a couple of weeks ago turned 10, and he's got that age stat to overcome. But he's looking for back-to-back wins in the race. And there's only 4 runners, but it is a fascinating little affair, isn't it? Really. So Etait Temps is going to be what I think is about 7-2 favourite for the Queen Mother behind Marine Nationale. So we put that up on probably a couple of months ago. Around sort of 6s or 7s. It's won the Tingle Creek. It's come down in price since then, but it's got that dreaded hoodoo at Cheltenham, 0 from 3. But he is a better chaser. Obviously, 7 from 9 over fences now. It's won 5 on the spin. Slammed Jonbon a couple of times, and it'd just be interesting to see how he gets on at Cheltenham. I mean, it is still there. As we all know, Cheltenham's like one of the biggest horses for courses tracks. So I'm still all over him, I think, for Cheltenham. I hope he wins here. I think Thistle Ask will, like George said, it'll probably, he'll set it up for probably both Jonbon and Etait Temps. I can't really have Gidley Park. I mean, that's £16 off the Mullins horse, and even Thistle Ask is £14 off Etait Temps as well. So it just looks like the obvious sort of 1-2 here. I mean, like, as we all know, Jonbon still never finished out the top two. I think was it 19 runs over fences and still somehow managed to, squeak into the top two in each one. So, win, lose or draw for Jonbon. He's a legend here. Harry Cobden, we'll see how he gets on, for riding for his new boss come May. But we've had, I think, 5 Clarence House winners since 2009 go on and win the champion chase in recent years. So, yeah, I think it could be another one here. I think Etait Temps, it translates to something like it's about time. So, it's probably about time Mullins had another winner in this race, isn't he? He's only had, like you say, Underso won it 3 times, but that was a while ago now, wasn't it? So this is going to be another one. Jonbon will follow him home.
I think it's now is the time. I think no one uses it.
It was time. Etait is the past tense of je suis and all that. So it's sort of it was time.
Well, it was time for Jonbon to go up and trip, but for some reason, Peter, they're going to stay to 2 miles. And hey, maybe Harry Cobden gets a good tune out of him for the first time, change of jockey, brightens him up, fires him up, and maybe he goes and wins. Does he?
No. And I can't believe we're nearly into our 8 minutes already recording to talk about this race, lads.
Etait Temps wins. Let's go.
We're getting French lessons as well. Yeah, exactly. As you said, Emmet, at the start, if he jumps around, he wins. It's simple as that. Who's going to beat him? Jonbon? No, there's nothing there. Thistle Ask is not in the same league. Gidley Park hasn't really, developed into the horse we thought he could be, even though he's a decent horse. He's different class to him. So simple.
Stick him in all your multiples. Stick him in all your multiples. Don't complicate your mind, or else do a rolling multiple.
Now, if Mark Walsh was riding Jonbon, now I might fancy him. That might be a bit different now. It might be a bit different. No, I'm only messing. We won't get into that.
Shots fired at Cobden.
No shots fired. I don't think there's much between them myself now. But look, we'll move on. Etait Temps is.
He has been in Jonbon before, hasn't he, Mark Walsh?
Yeah, I think he has. I don't know, but I kind of remember he has. But
he was on in the celebration chase when
right. Well, in regards with this race on Saturday, it's a steering job.
I think we can all agree, whatever your opinion is of the situation, for Mark Walsh to be, as Richie Forrestal said, a dead man walking is pretty shameful stuff. That's what's wrong about it. And we can all get very excited about the prospect of Harry Cobden riding for one of the most powerful owner in the sport and all the Grade 1 talent he can get to ride. But Mark Walsh
to be honest, I'm not that excited about it, if I'm being honest. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I really don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Michael.
I don't. We'll see. We'll see what races Harry will win, or, as I said earlier, what races Harry has won in the past and Mark wouldn't have won.
Yeah. It's JP's prerogative. JP McManus has made billions, and he tends to make billions by doing the exact opposite of what everybody else does. So it's his prerogative to decide who he wants to be a stable jockey, and it's up to him to choose what he wants to do with his money. However, I don't understand why this had to be announced now. And as Richie Forrestal said, Mark Walsh is now a dead man walking. Imagine Gary O'Brien going up to him and saying, "Oh, that's a very exciting novice chaser. What do you think he's going to be like next season?" What does he care? It's awful in that regard.
Yeah, very true.
Said he does the opposite to what everyone else does. That's why in no other job on earth would you be expected to serve a 3.5 month notice.
Yeah. Your services are no longer required, but hey, we're going to need you to write Facta File. I know the way you're thinking, and all these other horses until the end of the season. It's mad. It's mad. And anyway, we've discussed it. We did a very big podcast on the whole thing. I thought we covered it in depth and very interesting perspectives from the boys. All right. Haydock, Peter Marsh chase. We'll tell you all about it in a second. Presented this episode by 1xBet. If you're betting in Ireland, more than 7,000 events for you to get stuck into every single day. Fast withdrawals, loads of new customer sign-up offers. There might be some great ones for Cheltenham. There might be some great ones for the DRF. And of course, the Grand National Trial at Punchestown is a race that 1xBet are taking over and sponsoring to cement their partnership with Punchestown, and lots of races to sponsor at the Curragh as well, including the first ever Good Friday fixture at the Curragh Racecourse. That's going to be brought to you by 1xBet, and Irish Guineas weekend as well, also The official betting partner of that is 1xBet Ireland as well. You can sign up now. The link is in the episode description. It'll take you right to the 1xBet website in Ireland. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. Your game, your odds, your 1xBet. The official betting partner of FC Barcelona and the European champions Paris Saint-Germain as well. Myretown has won 3 of his last 5 starts, and he's fallen in the other 2. So he either wins or he falls. And I said last week, if his connections really think he's a Gold Cup contender, then he needs to be winning off a mark of 1.42. He's going to go for the Peter Marsh handicap chase. Instead, Peter Michael, I was going to say, to George Gorman. Royale Pagaille has won 2 of the last 3 runnings of the race. He was sent off favourite last year before pulling up. Venetia Williams cannot buy a winner. So is this Myretown's race to lose, or should we be looking at the Joel Parkinson and Sue Smith horse, Confusion, who continues to improve?
Yeah, I think I'm sort of keeping it quite simple here, to be honest. I think Myretown has essentially still got to prove that he can win off £15 higher than he won the Ultima off, because we didn't find out a whole lot the last day. Confusion's up another £9. I'm just going to stick with the tried and tested really here with Royale Pagaille. Like, he won this race a few years ago, £4 higher. It was a fairly long time ago, but his RPR of 163 in the Betfair chase on his seasonal debut, bear in mind he was an 11-year-old at the time, suggests he's not massively on the downgrade just yet, and he's very hard to beat round here. And his previous win in the race came off the back of being beaten in the Betfair, so a hard race there shouldn't be of too much concern for this. At the very least, it will be, if either Confusion or Myretown's able to beat him here, then they sort of do become Gold Cup contenders, really. Like, admittedly, they're receiving weight from him. But he's a very hard horse to beat around here, and if they manage it, it'd be a good stepping stone to sort of proper Grade 1 races. But for now, I think 9-1 about Royale Pagaille around Haydock is too big at any time. So even back at each way 2 places, if that's your sort of thing. But stick with what we know.
Okay, the tried and tested Royale Pagaille for George Gorman. What about Andy Newton?
Yeah, I love Royale Pagaille, 12-year-old as well. And we have had a couple of 12-year-olds win this. Al Vick in 2010, and the old Gold Cup winner Jonbon won it as a 12-year-old. So it is possible. And as George said, 2-time winner, loves Haydock. Won 5 times, I think, here, and actually ran all right behind Greg Dorney in the Betfair, didn't he? So, look, Venetia, as we pointed out last week, she's had a shocking rocking season, and it'd be nice to, get this one a winner for her here. But it's just, 7 runners. Unfortunately, the each way is a little bit messed up a bit there. Richmond Lake is probably worth a mention. That was 3rd, I think, in it last year, and it's actually £8 better off. So, if you can add maybe 3 places somewhere, that might be something. Johnny Who, obviously a bit of talent there, but just doesn't win enough. I think it's 1 in 12, so I can't have that. So it just sort of comes down to the top 2 in the bet. It hasn't been a great race for the favourites, actually. Only 3 from the last 20 jollies have gone in here. So they're sort of ding-donging a little bit at the moment. Myretown at the moment is 2-1, I think. Confusion just behind 5-2. And again, as we pointed out last week, with Myretown, fallen 50% of its last 4 races, would be the niggle. Is it going to cope with a £15 rise after the Ultimate? Connections seem to think it might be a Gold Cup horse, and all this palaver, we'll find out. It may well be. But look, Confusion was the nap over the Christmas period for the Poddy, won the Roland Merrick. That's actually been quite a decent trial for this race as well. I think 6 of the last 20 horses ran in that and came on and took this, up £9 from last time. Sue Smith's got a good record in this. She's won it 5 times. And then better of all, I contacted Peter Marsh, the old sponsor of this race earlier, came back in a flash.
Of course, massive fan of the podcast.
A massive fan, and one of the longest sponsored races I've ever jumped. I think he was pointing out to me as well. So, fair play to them. And look, even though his initial pick was Mr. Van Gogh, who is now obviously a non-runner, he did put that one up as a potential fancy for the Grand National, around 25-1 in 3 months' time. But his danger was Confusion. So me and Peter Marsh are rowing in on Confusion to keep it simple. All right. Confusion.
Exclusive to the Final Furlong podcast, the sponsors themselves, one of the oldest sponsorships in racing. Shout out Peter Marsh. Fancy Confusion in the absence of Mr. Van Gogh. But who does Peter Michael fancy?
Well, when we did, remember the last podcast we did, I was saying you couldn't really back Myretown at the odds he was. He was a bit bigger. He's 11-4, but I don't remember how many runners were in that race, but it was a good bit more than what do we have? 7, is it?
Yeah,
for this race. Yeah, to me, yeah, it is. I mean, you're going to have to close. There's 19 fences. I mean, he's not that bad a jumper. He just gets a few of them wrong. You're guaranteed he's going to get a few fences wrong out of the 19, and they're going to be scary. But if he can navigate himself over them, or if he can just keep him, just not fall, basically, I think he'll win. You have to respect confusion. Obviously, he's a horse on a roll, but I think there's a chance now the handicapper could be getting to him. I know he's won well. I know he's won easily by 7. The time before that by 15. But I'm just he's gone up a lot for beating horses who, I wouldn't say have much in hand of the handicapper or anything at all. But he is a horse on a roll, and when Sue Smith has one on a roll, they do progress very, very quickly, which this horse has been doing and is doing. Yeah, you have to respect Royale Pagaille and Johnny Who, McManus horse. I mean, the Berrico Lord lads, we all kind of gave him a positive mention the last day. How did he win at that price? It was one of those. How could we not have put something on him? I was sick. So you can never rule out a McManus horse in any of these big handicaps. You just can't for obvious reasons. But I'm going to take a chance Myretown gets round, and if he gets round, I think he should take care of these.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the very interesting things about Harry Cobden with JP. Moving swiftly along, I'm going to go with confusion. I was massively keen on Myretown, obviously, last week. I don't know what to make out of Lucinda Russell's form, and we covered some of the racing today on TalkSport 2, and she had a couple of horses that were fancied. Like, Time for Tom pulled up, Walking on a Dream, beaten 42 lengths. Yeah, they did have a winner at Newcastle earlier today in Moon Phases, but one winner from her last 22. Whereas the Sue Smith team, I know they might have gone a little bit quiet, but they've actually had only 5 runners in the last while. And it just seems like a resurgent season for them. This horse is improving all the time. So I'm going to take a chance on him. But it's not exactly a particularly strong opinion, but I'll row in with the sponsor, Peter Marsh, for confusion. Harry Cobden is going to be riding Jonbon for the first time, which means Nico de Boinville, who comes back this weekend, has deserted the past and looks to the future with Old Park Star. That can be the narrative we'll go for, really. Harry Cobden's just taking up his new position a little bit earlier than expected. Old Park Star is going to be a pretty strong favourite in a race that Nicky Henderson has won 3 of the last 6 runnings of. And he's got the odds-on favourite to enhance that record a little bit further and to cement his position as a strong fancy for the Supreme Novice Hurdle. But he's going to bump into Hurricane Pat, who has been really, really impressive on his 2 starts over hurdles, including an listed contest at Sandown last time out. And you will know an awful lot more about this horse than we do because you work with him every single day. So how is Hurricane Pat doing, George Gorman? And can he give away the small penalty to Old Park Star?
Yeah, no, he's had a really good time of it sort of in between races. He was backed off for a while and he got very, very fresh. I've been, riding out next to him, riding out about 10 feet away from him at all times because he got very fresh. But yeah, he's in good form. He schooled yesterday. Or was that this morning? Might have been this morning.
It all blurs into one, George.
It does when it's as wet as it is at the moment. Jesus. But yeah. My thing with Old Park Star is he's obviously the best in at the weights, but I don't know if that's a bit of an inflated rating on what he achieved the last day, given the second horse was very well beaten in the Formby on his next start. I'd sort of argue that Hurricane Pat's form is the best available, especially given the 4th horse from that listed race at Sandown, Sober Glory, won a Class 3 novice hurdle at Newbury by 13 lengths on Wednesday, I think it was. I think it's the best form on offer, and sort of if the rain really does come down, he's going to handle it no matter how deep it gets. For me, we had quite a few winners over that weekend, and Hurricane Pat was the one that impressed me the most by a mile. There's a lot of talk about McToad, and I just thought Hurricane Pat went through the race like it just been dropped in on bad ground at Sandown. He flew up the hill on the bridle. He's improved a lot, and like he's had a much sort of smoother run of things this season at home, like just in terms of everything. Like he just seems to have become a bit of a man now. So I'd feel very silly to take on Hurricane Pat here, given what I know about him and just given the form as well. It's trying to find like reasons in the form to back up what I think about him personally. But so there is a degree of that to it that I work with him every day, but I couldn't abandon Hurricane Pat here.
we've been discussing the novice hurdlers on the Final Furlong podcast for the last few days. Done 2 specials, both of them well received, and you can listen to them or watch them back on YouTube or your podcast feed right now with Adam Mills and Jamie Rennan. Thank you for your support of the show. It means a lot to us. So we've obviously talked in detail about Old Park Star and Hurricane Pat. I don't know if Old Park Star deserves to be an odds-on favourite for this race. I'm fascinated by him. I'm fascinated by him for his prospects for the Supreme Novice Hurdle as well. And obviously he's a Nicky Henderson horse. There could be a huge amount of improvement to come from him. There obviously was from first to second start and stable debut, but also there could be more improvement to come on third start. And officially he's rated 142 and Hurricane Pat's rated 136, and yet Hurricane Pat has to give him a £2 penalty. However, the betting is telling you one is 6-4 on and the other is 2-1. It's the 2-1 shot that would interest me more so from a multiple bet. I'm not getting stuck in, but the pro form speed figure for both horses is identical. They're both top speed, and they're both rated 84. For interesting purposes, the third one is Soldier Reeves for Dan Skelton. That gets the bronze at 81. But given the fact they've got identical speed figures and their overall rating is very close to one another as well, Old Park Star's pro form forecast price is 9-4. Hurricane Pat's is 5-2. The fact that you can get close enough to 5-2 about Hurricane Pat means I'll side with him. But it's tentative, Andy. And I do like Old Park Star, but it's tentative for you.
It is. It's a tricky one. I mean, it's probably, like you boys pointed out, the £8, difference in the ratings and the revised terms and stuff. And also, the Henderson sort of factor is obviously the reason why Old Park Star is odds on. Probably shouldn't be, like you say, with what Hurricane Pat's achieved. I mean, Sober Glory was fourth in that Sandown race, bounced back, won very easily in the week as well, didn't it? So there's a slight weight pull with Soldier Reeves, I think, as well. But I think Hurricane Pat's going to completely uphold that form with the Skelton horse. So it is literally a bit of a coin flick. And like you say, Hurricane Pat is probably the value, and it's just whether he's going to improve £8 on Old Park Star. I mean, Supreme betting at the moment, Old Park Star's 7-1, I think, second favourite. And then, whether Hurricane Pat goes down that route, obviously George will know more than us, but 25-1. And we have had a winner of this that's go on and win the Supreme back in the day, 2012, which was a Donald McCain horse called Summing and Summing.
Cinders and Ashes.
Cinders and Ashes.
Oh.
Obviously, this was a race Jonbon won as well, I think, in the past, and then second in the Supreme. So it's a fair trial. Henderson's obviously won it 6 times, like you pointed out. Emmet 3 of the last 6 as well, 50%. So it's a tricky one. This is going to be one that it's going to be in the doubles and trebles in it with the Clarence house favourite Etait Temps. And whether you're with Old Park Star, I don't know. I mean, that probably pays the double pays about 7-4 with the Clarence house favourite. If you're with the Hendo horse there, probably just edges it for me, but there's not a lot in it. It's a tricky one.
Peter Michael?
Yeah, I think it is tricky. Probably worth mentioning, probably not relevant, but still probably worth mentioning that Old Park Star has finished behind Hurricane Pat. Now, it was Hurricane Pat's third run, and it was a bumper. But Hurricane Pat did beat him by 5 lengths. They were off the same weight, but Freddie Gingell claimed 3. So Hurricane Pat gave him £3 when you include that, and he's given him £2 on Saturday. So he's £1 better off. But as I said, it was Hurricane Pat's third run, and it was Old Park Star's first run. So he's entitled to improve for close that gap. And of course, it's that one was a flat race, and this is a hurdles race. But it has to be mentioned when we're talking about the race. I won't be betting on it. I'm just going to watch it and try and learn from it to try and piece together the form of the novice hurdlers and try and see where that takes us going into March. And, I couldn't back any of them at those prices, to be honest. But if somebody put a gun to my head, I'd go with the value, which is Hurricane Pat.
Stop everything. Have you smashed a like on this episode yet? Have you? I haven't done this in weeks. Have you smashed a like on this episode? There is no way you're listening to George, Andy, and Peter and you have not hit the like button. Of course you have, because you wouldn't be so rude as to not do that. And have you hit the subscribe button for this episode? Because you don't want to miss the weekend review. Lots of big talking points. And of course, our Triumph Hurdle special next week as well. Loads of Cheltenham Festival specials are coming your way. And 2 Dublin Racing Festival preview specials for you as well in the coming weeks. Smash a like on this video, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode of the Final Furlong podcast. Brought to you by 1xBet, with more than 7,000 events for you to get stuck into every single day. Loads of new customer sign-up specials, loads of incentives for you to sign up, and loads of bonuses and goodies that are being offered to you at the 1xBet website. Fast withdrawals as well. You can sign up now by clicking the link in the episode description. It'll take you right to the 1xBet website if you're betting in Ireland. Gamble responsibly, 18 plus only. Terms and conditions apply. Your game, your odds, your 1xBet. The 140 at Ascot is the Warfield Mares Novice Hurdle. I'm going to say Mares Novice Hurdle because Novice Hurdle was in my head. Is the Jamie Snowden horse. It's not a Novice Hurdle, because then how the hell would Nurse Susan be running in this race? In a race that Dan Skelton has won 3 of the last 4 runnings of. They could have gone with Take No Chances, but the improving Nurse Susan horse, who's had some training difficulties but has been really, really good in her last 2 starts, is going to represent him. 15-8 favourite, La Conquière, a horse that was talked up by Jamie Wren on the podcast only a day ago. Well backed in recent days. She was 7-1 for this. She's now a 9-4 shot. Can she stake her claim for the Mares Novice Hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival? Is it between these two? And if so, who do you favour? Or is there something else for you, George Gorman?
Well, unofficial ratings is between Nurse Susan and Joyeuse, isn't it? But you sort of look at the Racing Post ratings, and they've got La Conquière of 143, Nurse Susan 145, Joyeuse 148, Sunset Marquesa 145, Ubeti 145. It's much more of a contest once you sort of include that, and obviously that factors in, like, official ratings can take a while to go up when a horse is improving as fast as La Conquière. The real factor here for me is the trip. Like, I'm off the last day, I wouldn't be dropping Nurse Susan down in trip. I'd have been, this was a 3-mile race, I'd be all over her. And say Joyeuse, most of her best form was over 2.5. Sunset Marquesa will probably love the ground, but again, I think she's out of Midnight Legend mare, is she? No, Bob Back out by Walk in the Park. It's another horse I'd be inclined to see go up in trip, and to be honest, I think that puts me on La Conquière for this. It's probably, just in terms of the trip, I think she's the fastest horse here by quite some distance, and could even end up being quite straightforward for her. Like, just on what she's achieved so far, I can't really make a case against her. Like, and the other thing, that was on soft ground the last day, so we know she'll handle that. The only horse really other than her that might handle this 2-mile would be Joyeuse, and she's so out of form currently. Obviously, aborted chase season. I just think the solid one's La Conquière. I'd be very, very keen on her here, really.
Yeah, I agree with you. Second in the entry, Mare's Bumper to Sholin, who's a pretty decent horse who won on the flat, and Clarence. You could maybe say that form has not worked out quite well afterwards, but she's 2 from 2 over hurdles. And it's really interesting that Jamie Snowden throws her into this race. I'm with her as well. Just a little bit annoyed that I didn't back her at the significantly bigger price, Andy Newton.
Yeah, that has come in, hasn't she? I think probably about 4-1. But even today, I think when I looked, it was, she was about 4-1. I think now it's a touching favourite, I think. And yeah, like you say, that that Aintree Mares flat race, but that's just that. I've talked about it before. It's just that super duper race. Form's unreal where every horse. I think I mentioned it. That there's only one horse that hasn't run yet. That's St Jessica. So I don't know if there's something wrong with her or whatever, but just keep that in your trackers, because everything else in that is just won at some stage. So and yeah, I mean, look, what is it? Probably £10 to find with the the revised weights with Nurse Susan, and I was the same as George with the question marks for the trip. I mean, Nurse Susan just needed every inch of that trip last time, didn't it? At Sandown, was it 2.5 and dropping back? I mean, look, it has absolutely bucketed down today. This is Thursday, so Ascot at the moment good to soft. Probably is going to be a bit worse than that, I think, come Saturday. So that's going to help Nurse Susan certainly. But it's just she's just one of these horses, just keeps pulling out and winning, doesn't she? But I just think that the money's interesting for the Snowden horse, and I'm going to side with that, even though the weights and the weight pool and everything, the ratings tell you not to. La Conquière for me.
Peter Michael.
Yeah, like the boys have said, I was a bit surprised to see Nurse Susan running back over, in fact, under 2 miles. I don't think she's ran at this trip for about 3 years now. And saying that, in the years gone by, she's very good form over this trip, but as she's gotten older, she looks to be a stayer. So I don't know, maybe Dan just saw the entries for this and thought it might be winnable, but I was surprised. Yeah, I like La Conquer, how she finished off the last time, but her jumping wasn't great, and she's going to have to improve her jumping. But look, she's only at 4 races. She's progressive. She'll have to improve in her form for sure to be winning this. But she has a ticket to improve. But for me, I'm interested in 2 here, and I think Sunset Marquesa is the wrong price. 4 lengths behind North Susan the last time, £4 better off, so that completely just navigates, like it just levels that out straight away. And the drop back to 2 miles, I think George is wrong there, that it won't suit this horse. Stop the race and stand down 3 furlongs from home. This horse is cantering over all of them. And even with 2 furlongs to go, you think this horse is going to go on and win the race. I think the back in trip is really going to suit this horse. The soft ground will suit it. Now, of course, they're running good ground. Ascot will be soft. That will obviously make it, a bit more of a stamina test over 2 miles, which will help North Susan. But I still think 2 miles is going to be too short for North Susan. And the fact that this horse has the £4 pull, which would have made them basically finish level last time out. And I think this step back in trip is going to suit this horse a lot more than it's going to suit North Susan. In fact, it won't suit North Susan. I think this horse is the wrong price. I have this horse shorter than North Susan anyway. So I'll have to be tipping him up. But I would be afraid of the Jamie Snowden horse because it has the potential, but it will have to improve its jumping. And the other thing Sunset Marquesa has going for her is there's only, 5 runners in it? And herself and Betty are the only 2 that's going to go forward. And they'll probably set a slow enough pace. And that could be the winning of the race. And I would be putting something as well on Betty because she's a good horse on her day. Now, she is better in better ground, but she does have good form in soft ground. So I'll be playing Sunset Marquesa here for the win, definitely, and Betty as well, and a small reverse forecast in the 2 of them.
You'd have Sunset Marquesa at a shorter price than North Susan?
Absolutely, not even a question in my mind. Stop that race with 4 furlongs to go. Sunset Marquesa would have beaten North Susan by about 6 or 7 lengths, and she's £4 better off. Absolutely. I'd love to. If someone wants to give me a match bet on that. I mean, one is 9-4, the other one's 9-2. So get whatever you want to give me, factor that into it. I'll be all over that big time.
Get yourself to the OneXBet website in Ireland. You'll be able to get it. You'll be able to get it.
The odds Emmet is telling us that North Susan has a double better chance because Sunset Marquesa has double the odds of North Susan. That's bollocks. That's absolute bollocks. It's bollocks. There's no way. Like this Sunset Marquesa. Now, look, she mightn't be good enough to beat the others, maybe, because you can't rule out Joyeuse as well. But I mean, Jesus, I'd be surprised if he doesn't beat North Susan. If she doesn't beat North Susan.
Oh man, I was all over Le Conquier, and now I'm just blindly following in Peter Michael.
Yeah, but that could be the better. She could progress.
Yeah, she could improve. Of course, she could.
Now, with all due respect to Sunset Marquesa, she's a very likable horse, but she's no star. So that the Snowden horse has that ticket to go and be a very, very good horse. Sunset Marquesa is limited, but I'm just talking about the race and the day, the way the race is going to run. I'd love a match bet with North Susan. That's all I'm saying, basically.
I'm going to have to follow you in some sort of multiple in some way. Anyway, I'll split them. There'll be 2 multiples. One will have the Snowden horse, Le Conquier. One will definitely have Sunset Marquesa because you were so enthusiastic.
How can you fancy North Susan to beat that horse? I don't know how.
No, I agree. I agree. I was with the Snowden horse, but I wasn't expecting you to be so enthusiastic about it.
Unless they go and try to go to the front with North Susan, because sometimes they can change tactics to Skeltons, but they might just burst the horse then. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah.
Okay, 2.5 mile handicap chase at Ascot as we go back there for the 220. This is the last race we're going to do at Ascot for this episode of the show anyway. Neon Moon's only £3 higher than his course and distance win 2 starts back. He gets our old friend Harry Cobden on board again. He's unbeaten in just the 1 start on him, but that's a bonus for him. He won off this mark in October 2024, the £3 higher. And with Cobden on board, I think he's going to go close again. Hitman, our old friend, is back into a handicap company under a top weight. He'd have a massive chance in this race given his speed rating figures, but Neon Moon is the horse that I'm going to go with for our close personal friend David Pipe. I haven't tipped a David Pipe horse in months. Now is the time at a double figure price. Neon Moon, and he might go in with Sunset Marquesa for a see you in Dubai multiple, or at least a few pints with Andy Newton in Dublin. George Gorman, for you.
Oh, Emmet, you were in recovery from backing all of the David Pipe horses
from years and years ago. Yeah.
Oh well. No, it's a race where I don't think anything's thrown in here. This is one of those races where it's hard to be really enthusiastic about any of them, but I did think Scarface, especially if the ground gets real deep, would have a good chance. He's got a decent record at Ascot, 3 seconds and a win from 6 visits. And his 6 career wins include a win on soft ground and one on heavy. He's up £1 for a good second to Etelon last time, gets a £4 weight pull with that horse. And well, as much as we sort of go on about Etelon being massively well handicapped, this is actually really, he's sort of handicapped up to his best here, really. Don't know quite how that happened so quickly, Mr. Handicapper. But look, I just think Scarface could be specifically equipped for this kind of test. The one to watch with a good bit of interest, in fairness, from an each-way angle, is Jungle Boogie. Like, showed very well for a long time on his return from a 294-day break last time. If he comes on from that, I know it's a 12-year-old, but if he comes on from that and any of his old ability remains, a mark of 152 could be very, very lenient, and Hitman's participation stops him from having 12 stone. I think he runs off at 11.11 instead, which is no bad thing if the ground is going to get real deep there. So whether it's a bet Jungle Boogie, I don't know, because there's so many unknowns there. But if I pushed, I would have a bet on Scarface.
Andy? You're on mute, my son.
Keith's just shouting in the background again, sorry. Vincenzo is going to be the place spot sort of banker for everyone. You know, hasn't been out of the top 2 yet in 6 runs over fences, but doesn't look great value. But Sam Thomas does have quite a good strike rate here over fences, 43%, 3 from 7. So, as you said, Etelon, Scarface and Bad, 1st, 2nd and 4th here last time out. Scarface £4 better off, Bad £5 better off. So there's probably not going to be a great deal between those 3. But yeah, look, I just think it's one of those races that probably could have a bit of a punt down with something at a bigger price. I like Neon Moon, the one you put up, Emmet. I think Harry Cobden back won on it a couple of races ago. CD winner, likes the track here. I think it's 25351. So that's a plus. 10-year-old, but gets him with a lightweight. But I think the one horse that hasn't been mentioned yet, Cheltenham, is overpriced. And look, the trip and the ground might be a bit iffy, but as one on heavy, on the Greatwood, I think at Newbury a couple of seasons ago on heavy, beat that Can Do Kid. But when you look at the ratings, right, it's back down to its last winning mark. They're chucking Harry Aikins on, who's claiming 7. So it's effectively £7 below its last mark. Fell last time, admittedly. It's probably booked for 3rd that day at Aintree when it took a tumble, but it was still running all right until that. 10 stone 7. So yeah, I just think that with the £7 claim here, that's overpriced Cheltenham. So I'd be probably playing Neon Moon, Cheltenham, little double or Dutchy, those 2 up or whatever you want to call it.
Peter?
Well, I was just going to say, nearly every show we do, Andy, at some stage is on mute. So I think we need to change his name from Andy the Nap to Andy Mutant.
Andy the Mute. No, just call him the Mute.
Andy Mutant, yeah, exactly.
They're banging screaming in my ear. Oh,
well, I don't blame you for muting.
Yeah.
Look, there's nothing here that I would consider. Like, I do think Vincenzo is the most likely winner, so that's the one I'm going to put up. I think he brings the best form into the race. He could be worth a little bit of 5-2. I wouldn't say he's major value, but there's nothing that stands out here to me. But he is consistent. Trainer is in form, jockey's in form. That's the one I'm putting up. I think he's the most likely winner. Would I be getting stuck in at 5-2? No. Would I put something on him? Yeah, something small. I wouldn't be getting stuck in. So he'd be my pick, Vincenzo.
Okay, 235 at Haydock is the ACA Freeze handicap hurdle. It's over 3.5 miles, and I thought it was a complete nightmare. So please solve it, George Gorman.
Yeah, you're not wrong with complete nightmare. This is another one where it's really hard to be very positive about any of them. I did on the Christmas review show flag up that actually Tripoli Flyer probably put in his best round of jumping ever over hurdles in the Christmas hurdle.
George, you're in the wrong race, mate.
Oh shit! Which one am I on?
We're on the 235 at Haydock.
Oh yeah, I've got the wrong one up on my screen. Sorry. Yeah, this one was even more of a nightmare. But no, I came down on.
go on mute, George.
That should be my thing. I'll be talking about the wrong race. I have the right notes up here in front of me about the wrong race on Racing Post. So I came down on Kintara eventually. The 3 3/4 length fourth to Impose Trois on seasonal debut has obviously been heavily boosted with that horse winning twice since. His 3 length fifth at Cheltenham the next time wasn't too bad either, considering it was on good soft ground. His 2 career highest RPRs came on soft, and he's previously won on heavy. Given he's now off the same mark, well, he's been on the same mark all season as he was when second in the Etait Temps. But I think the return to soft ground could see him improve on what he's done so far this season. And at a fairly backable price at 7-1, probably just a muggy each way bet on him, probably.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Stay Away Faye beat Affadale Fury in the potato race. Affadale Fury wins the Savills Chase, and now Stay Away Faye in first-time blinkers with Miss Olive Nichols claiming £5 is a 25-1 shot with 1x bet for this handicap hurdle at Haydock. Andy Newton, fill your boots, son. It can't be beaten.
You never know. First-time blinkers, good spark Faye back into life. You never know. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Look, there is an interesting stat here. 9 of the last 10 didn't win last time out. So favourite Dalston lad, who's actually ran in the bumper at Cheltenham, 15th, I think, that day, won at Sedgefield last time out, into a handicap for the first time, rules that one out. Both Barrels is the only other recent winner, I think, in the race. So, if you like that stat, then you can sort of whack those 2 out. Kintara was one I sort of came down on as well with George. I think that Impose Trois form's decent, dropping grade here. The run at Cheltenham was all right last time when it was 5th. And the other one that's coming for a bit of support, I noticed in the last, I don't know, probably 12 hours, 24 hours, is that Solar System. Another JP one. It's been backed in from about 10s down. It might even go a favourite because it's not a million miles off it, about 5s, I think now. 6 of the last 10 have been ridden by a claimer. Callum Pritchard, one of the only claimers riding. Obviously, Olive Nichols is in there for your Stay Away Faye as well, so that ticks that stat. But so Solar System actually won on this card last year. I think it won the 310 at Haydock. So we know the track's all right. He's coming off a layoff, 301 days or something, gone all right fresh in the past. And even though it's £5 higher than when it won on this card last year, obviously the Pritch is taking off 3. So only got £2 to find. So yeah, Solar System for me and a little Kintara sort of cover.
Okay, Peter Michael?
Yeah, the way I was looking at this race was there is a potential the Skeleton horse, Dalston lad, could be well treated off 121. The trip is an unknown. Could improve for it, mightn't improve it, I don't know. But there's a chance this horse could win this race comfortably. But I'm going to play it differently. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm actually going to put up the 2 outsiders, Stay Away Faye and Inishore. The reason I'm going to put up these 2 is because they both tumbled down the weights. I think most of the others, apart from that Skeleton horse I've mentioned, they are basically what they are. I don't think they have much in hand of the handicapper. Stay Away Faye gets blinkers first time. She has won cheek pieces, I think, once or twice. Tongue ties on her. I mean, she's her. It's just
misgendering a Cheltenham hero. How dare you?
This horse, the fall from this horse was a horse I think a lot of us thought would be going on to bigger things than she had already achieved. She was a very, very He's
still doing
it. He.
Another thing.
I keep seeing Stay Away Faye and
don't worry, he's an unsullied. The poor fella can't do anything. Don't worry about it.
Right. Anyway, look, basically, obviously pinning hopes at the blinkers first time just brings he back to life. And he's at odds as well that you can take the chance. And Inishore as well was not a bad horse in his day, and he's tumbled down the weights as well.
Yeah.
And that is a he, thank God. That is a he, so I got that one right. I didn't mix it up. But and he ran a bit better than the last time. I just think the way the makeup of the race is, if any one of those 2 won at that prices and I didn't have a tenner on them or something like that, I'd be saying to myself, why have I not done that? The odds, it's worth the risk. So yeah, I'm going to put up the 2 of them. Stay Away Faye, I think it's around 28-1, and Inishore around 33-1, and hope one of them comes back to form. Or you never know if both of them come back to form. Be a lovely reverse
You might as well just do the reverse
mug bet.
Peter.
Well, you have to do it. If I'm going to be betting those at those prices and I don't do it for a few quid, jeepers.
I told you, Peter, he can't be beaten. The Affadale Fury form is there for all to see. Stay with Faye. Absolute good thing. Yeah. Peter Michael, nap of the weekend goes in. One last race, because I have a feeling George Gorman's going to have a very, very strong view on the Holloway's handicap hurdle, the 2 mile 3 handicap hurdle. George, take it away at Ascot.
But do you know what it is? One's the 235, one's the 253. I've looked up quickly and seen a 5 and a 3, and they're the wrong way around.
Ah,
that's what I've done.
Good old dyslexia. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's not the strongest view, but I do think this horse is massively overpriced. Samuel Spade is back down to a mark of 125, which his last win came off last February at Ascot. Well, that came over 2 miles 7.5, so 4 furlongs further than this. I hope that was on good ground that day. I'm hoping the softer ground will ensure it's more of a stamina test for him. Like the below par efforts so far this season are concerning, but the introduction of cheap pieces for the first time could spark him back to life. And he's a horse with a lot of back class. Like there was a while we thought, speaking of horses that promised a lot, there was a while we thought he'd be a lot better than this. And I'd say a mark of 125, he's got to be better than that for a team that are absolutely flying as well. I'd almost never let this horse go off that price at this track because he's just made for it.
I'm hoping that the 2023 County Hurdle winner Favois is going to bounce back. He's been a wild price these last 3 starts, 28 to 1, 40 to 1, 28 to 1. He's now dropped down to a mark of 132. I'm hoping that Harry Skelton is going to be able to get him on a going day. And if he can, then hopefully he can go and bounce back. 134 was the mark when he won the County Hurdle. He was 137 against Sarah Rebecca Lord in the old Tote Gold Trophy handicap hurdle as it was known back in the day. So for mark of 132, I'm hoping the Skeltons can get into winners enclosure. It's not a strong opinion. I would be maybe more interested in George's horse. But Andy, the Nap Newton might have something to say about this race.
Yeah, well, 11-year-old. I don't think it's won, is it, since the county win at Favois? I mean, 14 of the last 16 have been 7 or younger. 12 of the last 16 have carried 10 stone 11 or more as well. So that's all right for Favois, but obviously he falls down on the age. Came from nowhere, won last time out at Hereford, up £7. So you can make a case for that one. Surrey Lord was probably a lucky winner at Kempton. I think was that one you had, Peter, you put up and it failed, didn't it? And then
the race was in the balance, but one way west or something like that. Yeah,
one way west. Yeah, so up £6. But look, Surrey Lord has won. He's won three of his last 4. So might be some more improvement there. The Snowden horse that won the 5-year-old Marsha Delegra has been a beaten favourite. I think 3 of the last 4. So you can probably question marks for that. That Patriotic was put up by a couple of Shrewdies last time it ran. I noticed. I'm not going to name them, but some well-known tipsters did put that one up, and it absolutely bombed out. And I think it's back down to below its last winning mark. I think £2 or £3. I think below its last winning mark. They're trying the cheap pieces on. I think at 25 to 1, that's going to pop up at some point, that Patriotic. And we should probably just mention Tripoli Flyer as well. The trip and the ground and everything might be a little bit, tricky for it, but they're putting Fern O'Brien on to take 5 off. It's got 12 stone. It's probably the class angle in the race. 5th to Sagino last time in the Christmas hurdle. Obviously back into a handicap here. But the trip is the worry, but I don't know. I just probably have a little go on Tripoli Flyer, but I think that Patriotic is going to pop up at some point, for Evan Williams. And maybe the cheap pieces might spark it back 25 to 1.
I thought Metier showed that he retains plenty of ability in his comeback run. Or at least the run in behind Go Dante the other day. Did Doncaster run on the... Yeah, okay, fair enough. But the run against Go Dante I thought was reasonable enough. He gets first-time cheek pieces. He's not getting any younger. 33 to 1 for a stable that's going much better this season than they had been in previous seasons. I'll take a chance on him at 33s, but it's not a strong opinion. Peter?
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from, Emmet, and I wouldn't put anyone off having a small bet on that Metier, however you want to call him, at 33 to 1, because he is very capable of winning this race if he comes back to form. But as you said, he's not getting any younger, and he hasn't been in great form. But again, it would be one of those, if he wins at 33 to 1, I'd kick myself if I didn't have something on him. But yeah, the one I'm going to go for in this field, Andy was talking about, is Tripoli Flyer. Look, he is the class horse in the race. Back over hurdles, cheek pieces went on him last time. His jumping hasn't been great in the past, so that is a worry. If he can get a good jumping round going, he shouldn't be a million miles away. I think he'll be okay over this trip. The ground should be fine. He has to prove that he'll stay this trip properly, but some runs over hurdles over 2 miles, he's hit the line very, very well. That would, have me thinking he'll stay this trip, but until he does it, I won't. It's one I wouldn't be sure about. But again, as I'm saying, he'd have to get a good jumping round going off that weight. And if he can jump adequately even, yeah, I don't think he'll be a million miles away. If he is a million miles away and jumps well, they're in trouble with him. He's not a bad horse. He's off 140. Fern's taken off 5. He's off 135. And this is not a strong handicap in my mind. So, yeah, I'd be going with Tripoli Flyer and something small in Metier.
Naps, boys. Naps and next bests. Kicked off by George Gorman.
If I can, just one little bit of any other business from Windsor on Sunday. It is on ITV. Invincible Nao of obviously my boss's horse ran very well at Sandown the last day in the London National. Still on the bridle, 3 out, hit the second last and just emptied. I think he just made a mistake at the wrong time. But interestingly, the third horse, he finished 4th. The third horse, Rivers Corner, won 2 starts later off the same mark. O'Connell, who won the race, finished 2nd in the Welsh National on his next start. The race has actually worked out quite well. So for him to be running here off the same mark, I think Windsor will suit. He's 10-1, and the favourite, A Work in Progress. He got a very strange ride the last day. He got a very strange ride for a horse that won his last 5 or 6 or whatever it was. If there's a big day, it's not going to be for 15 grand here. I just wonder if the favourite is going to be given another very strange ride. So in that case, Invincible Now would be my horse there. So the nap is going to be Le Conquier in the Grade 2 Mares Hurdle at Ascot. I'd be tempted by Samuel Spader's next best, but after putting my nap and next best at the same track last weekend and the meeting was called off, I'll put my next best at Haydock. Will be King Tara.
Okay, Andy Newton. Andy the Nap Newton.
Look, Confusion napped us on Boxing Day, I think it was, and I'm going to stick with Peter Marsh himself, the sponsors. Confusion's going to be the nap in the Peter Marsh at 2 o'clock at Haydock. Next best is going to be, I know you're going to hate it, Emmett, but it's going to be Cheltenham in that 220 at Ascot. I think it might go okay with the £7. And I think that Solar System, the one we talked about in that 235 at Haydock as well, looks like it's been back to the race. One at the track before, one at this meeting before. So yeah, Solar System in that 235 at Haydock as well.
Okay.
But Confusion in that.
Peter Michael.
Etait Temps. No, only joking. I'm not going to come here.
That was going to be my joke.
I'm not going to come up here and put up an 8-13 as a nap. I'm going to take on George with his nap. I'm going to go for Sunset Marquesa just because I think it'll definitely beat North Susan and the price is wrong. And I'm hoping that, I'm not hoping the jumping of La Marquesa, like Conqueror, confusing myself. I just think the run of the race might suit him. And I'm going to go with, sorry, this is getting terrible. It's getting terrible. Sunset Marquesa is my nap, and I don't have a next best. Sorry.
Peter Michael is extremely confident about Sunset Marquesa. Confusion.
But I'm not. You see, that's the thing, because she is a limited horse. It's just I think she's the wrong price and she's going to get to run the race.
He's extremely bullish. She can't see the horse beaten. She's an absolute good thing. No, come back next week. Make sure you're signing up to Peter Michael's excellent Telegram service where he's banging in the winners left, right and centre, including another very, very nice winner yesterday who drifted to a big price too, or at least a much bigger price than it should have been. We're back next week breaking down all of the key action, the key races, the key horses. We're going to do a Triumph Hurdle special with Jamie Wren and Adam Mills as well, and of course the weekend preview, and then we're building up to the Dublin Racing Festival too. Lots of content coming your way. Hopefully you've hit a like on this episode because hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you've smashed the subscribe button as well so you never miss an episode. And if you're betting in Ireland, make sure you're checking out 1xBet. massive sponsorship with Punchestown and the Curragh ahead for the new season. More than 7,000 events for you to get stuck into every single day. Fast withdrawals, new customer sign-up offers. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. Click the link in the episode description. It will take you right to the 1xBet website in Ireland. 1xBet knows the crack. Bet with your head, not above it. George Gorman, Andy Newton, Peter Michael, and me, Emmet Kennedy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thanks for the kind words on the YouTube comment section as well. We will be commenting. We will be interacting with you. We love to hear from you. Have a great weekend. Best of luck with your bets. From the lads and myself, look after yourself and each other. God bless.
Thanks for spending some time with us on the Final Furlong podcast. We're independent media, so if you like what we do, hit like, share, and subscribe. It's free, it's quick, and it genuinely helps. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more where that came from. Don't miss out. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all major platforms, and join us on the gravy train. The Final Furlong podcast, independent, unfiltered, and powered by you.